If you're returning back, thank you for coming. I appreciate your support. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Tiffany. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So in today's video, I am going to be talking about relationship versus religion, or relationship over religion, in my opinion, my personal opinion. So let's get into it. I grew up in a Christian household with my mom and my dad, but for whatever reason, I don't even know why. I really don't know why, but only me and my mom would go to church. My dad would not come with us. He would usually stay home, and that was just what me and my mom did. Every Sunday we would go to church. The only way we wouldn't go to church is because, whether it was some inclement weather or one of us was not feeling good at the time. But besides that, you will find us in church. I grew up in both a non-denominational, but then as well as a Baptist church. So I've been to both, and I did end up getting baptized while I attended Baptist church and went through the whole thing of Sunday school, all of that. And my experience, I don't remember too much, but I enjoyed it. I didn't have, I'm being a kid, being with other kids, I didn't have anything against it at all or whatever. But it was something that I did. It was something that me and my mom did it. It was like, okay, during the week, we go ahead and go to work and to school. Saturday is a chill day, woot woo, and then Sunday is for church. So that's just what it was like for me. And I didn't really fully, to be honest, like I went to church because it was something that I was raised up doing. It was something that my mom did. And so I did it because that was just what we did. And it didn't resonate with me that it took me having a relationship with God. And that didn't happen until years later. So I found myself pregnant. It's years later. I found myself pregnant at the age of 19. I didn't know I was pregnant until after I and my daughter's father broke up. And not to go into too much detail, but I dealt with the pregnancy without him the whole time. And it was difficult, because usually when you get pregnant, it's supposed to be a joyous time. You're supposed to have a lot of people supporting you. And don't get me wrong, I had my parents there, and I had some family there as well. But going forward, that's just how that was. And we did end up getting back together right before I had my daughter. And we stayed together up until she was about 6 months. And then after that, that was it. And at that time, I didn't understand. When you're going through stuff, you don't understand. You're like, oh, why is this happening? Why is that happening? And whatnot. You don't understand it. But then when you come out of it, listen, when you come out of it, it's like, oh, okay, now I see what you were protecting me from. Now I see why this didn't work out. Because had I still been in it, had I still been in that situation, I would have been further away from you. I would have been further away from where I was supposed to be. So, y'all, when we broke up, that was a pivotal moment for me. And I say that because that was also one of my lowest points. And, I didn't want to be a single mom. I don't think anybody really intends to be a single mom at all, but it does happen. And y'all, especially for me, like growing up in a two-parent household, like I felt like, wow, like I grew up in a two-parent household, and now my daughter, like that was something that I wanted for my kids, and now it's not happening. So there were all kind of emotions involved. I felt sad. I felt guilty, maybe even a little depressed at times as well, because I felt like I failed. Like that's how I felt. And so it was at that point where I was like, okay, what I'm doing by myself is not working. What this person is telling me to do is not working. What that person is telling me to do is not working. It's like I'm hearing what to do, how to be, and I'm trying some of these things and it is not working for me at all. It was not working for me. So that's when I was like, okay, I've tried everything else. God, I need for you to help me because I don't know what to do at all. And it was at that moment that shifted things for me. And I'm not saying that that's how it is for everybody. You know, some people grow up in the church and they already have that relationship with God. But for me personally, it took something tragic. It took something even traumatic for me to be like, God, like, I need you, for me to yearn for that relationship, to move beyond religion, right? Because we can't depend on our moms or our grandmother's relationship with God. It's like there comes a point where you have to choose relationship over religion. And I'm kind of veering off a little bit, but I know there's some people where, you know, they feel like it's like the Pharisees. Like the Pharisees, you know, they did everything to the T, but at the same time, their hearts were far from God. Like Jesus came and they were side-eyeing him like, no, you're doing this. You're not supposed to be doing that. No, you're doing that. That's not supposed to be happening. You're hanging around those people. You're speaking that way. You're doing this on a certain day. Like, there are some people that are out there like that. And as a follower of Christ, none of us are perfect. And I'm not making an excuse at all. I know I'm not perfect. I will be the first to say I'm not perfect. But if you've ever been hurt by people that have claimed to be Christian, by people that claim to follow Christ, if you've ever been hurt within the church, because I know there's a lot of church hurt going around too, I want to apologize. And I don't want that to keep you from God. You know, it's like, although we're Christian, although we're followers of Christ, like, we make mistakes. And y'all, there's also people out here with that wolves in sheep's clothing. That's a whole nother topic. But I want to apologize, and I don't want that to deter you or anybody else from wanting to have a relationship. Because a lot of people out here are religious, but they don't have a relationship. And I just want to apologize for that. And I'm just hoping that your heart is open, in that me sharing my story and maybe planting a seed that eventually, if you have been hurt, or if you know somebody who has been hurt, that slowly but surely your heart will become softened again. And, you know, just going forward, moving on from that, it took me a while. It took me a while to build a relationship with God. It's like a relationship with anybody else. Like, it's like, okay, we don't just go to somebody and be like, oh, hey, I need you to do this or that for me. Like, and you shouldn't do anybody like that, right? But sometimes that's how we are with God. Like, I want this and this and that from you, but you haven't taken the time to build a relationship. It's like, you know God. It's like you know of God, but you don't know him for yourself. You get what I'm saying? And that's something that I realized where I was as a person, where I was that I knew the routine of going to church on Sundays. I knew some scriptures, I knew this and that, but I did not have a relationship with him outside of church at all. I didn't. I began to read my Bible. I was given scripture during that time to help me heal, because also soul ties are very real. I firmly believe that they are very real. So being released from that soul tie, and then also just getting healing for myself, and knowing that I am worthy, knowing that, you know, even though I did this, even though I committed this sin, even though I felt like I failed or dropped the ball, that God still loved me. So it took a lot of reading. It took a lot of journaling. That was a time where I really started writing even more. I always loved writing, but I really began journaling and writing to God like daily. That was something that I did. And also having people around me to hold me accountable. At that time, I also joined a singles ministry, and it was for younger people. And y'all, it was awesome. It really was. And y'all, there's no, one way to do it, and there's no one thing. I feel like there's a lot of things collectively that can help you, especially if you're in the position to where you're trying to figure out, if you want to go ahead and take that next step in faith and be beyond religion and go ahead and do that relationship. Go ahead and step into a relationship with God. And y'all, trust me, you do not have to be perfect at all. You don't have to get all cleaned up before coming to him. He will take you as you are, regardless of what other people say, regardless of what you have been told. He will take you as you are. And to this day, I continue to spend time with God. The pandemic, that's going on. So a lot of churches where I am are still closed, but that does not mean that because they're closed doesn't mean that I'm closed off from God. No, I still continue to read my Bible. I still continue to read other resources as well. I still continue to journal. I still continue to pray. I still continue to worship. And it's not going to be easy. It's not at all. It's a process. So don't think you're going to be, where you would like to be right away. No, and don't be so hard on yourself. Just as God gives us grace, make sure you give yourself grace as well. So yeah, I don't want to keep going on and on. If you would like to know anything else from anything that I've said, let me know in the comment section. Let me know what that turning point was from you, what your relationship with God has been like in general lately. Whatever you feel on your heart to share, let me know. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.